September the 10th, 2024. Guys, you're looking at the latest images from the satellite over the Gulf of Mexico. This update that we're doing came out, most of the information, 38 minutes ago at 1 p.m. Central Time. This is the center of circulation here. We've had overcast skies all day, but we're getting light sprinkles. That's what you're seeing here. The big puffier areas, Louisiana, you are starting to get heavier rains and moving over towards Florida as well in this image. Here's the center of circulation. It hasn't moved much all day. It's been sitting almost in the same place. I think it has now in the update sped up from 5 to 8 miles per hour forward speed. Now, it's still a 65 mile per hour tropical storm. They're expecting it to become a Cat 1, and they've downgraded the speed by 5 knots as it's coming ashore. Infrared a moment, and you can see where the tallest storms are. Right now, they're in the northeast quadrant, the most dangerous area, but it looks like they're going to try to wrap up. It's only 1:40 p.m., even though it's overcast along the Gulf. Above this is a hot, burning sun. You've got a lot of moisture coming through here. Over the Bahamas, you're starting to pick up some rain. You're getting some down in South Florida. But I've got a feeling a lot of this you're going to get before it's said and done. Again, Mississippi, in Central, we're getting overcast showers. Looks like about the same weather in Alabama and sections of Louisiana. Now, the tracking has changed. It was going to come in very close to Morgan City, but right now, I did my map from the computer-generated longitude and latitude, and it looks like it's going to come right over Baton Rouge, guys. Then it's going to come up and through the Macomb area. We're going to take a look at that, and then be between Jackson and Vicksburg about midnight, very close to Jackson, Mississippi, with the northeast quadrant. By that time, guys, at midnight tomorrow night, it will be back down to a tropical storm. But we are under tropical storm warnings, just 120 miles inland now. We're getting messages from Southern Pine, our electrical co-op here, and they're talking about the crews are ready. More than likely, we're going to have some outages, and they cover a wide section of Mississippi. But and to be patient and to avoid lines, things like that. And what I'm telling you to do is the same thing, except make sure all your batteries are charged, water, food, anything you're going to need, gasoline, maybe some candles, whatever. Right now, in the video this morning, let's go back to that for a second. In the comments, someone said, I think I pinned it, that there are stations in Louisiana that are already running out of gasoline. So that's going to spread everywhere. And we're going to look at some webcams from Corpus Christi all the way to Pensacola in just a moment. But let's zoom in just a little on this system. And you can see how tight this thing is, small and well organized. It's pre-raining on all the places it's going to flood with the moisture that comes in with a storm. The reports as far as storm surge are still up from 10 to 5 through the section of Louisiana, then fading out to 1 to 3 on both edges over in Mobile Bay and down along the Rio Grande. It's very tight. And these things cycle. Overnight, they sometimes will die down somewhat. The sun gets back on them, and you'll start to see them do this. Now, while we're zoomed in, let's go to the day cloud phase on this camera. The bright yellows are the tall clouds, and then as you get down through the oranges, it's kind of the edge of the cloud tops, and then into the light green and blue, they're more the surface clouds. And that's what's good about this filter. It can give you that information. But again, it's tightly wrapping up right here, and it's starting to make that jog, if you look at it in the last few frames, more to the northeast instead of skating up the Texas coast, just moving a little bit out that way. Let's take a look at the wide Atlantic now. Here is the Gulf of Mexico storm there. It looks like you got it, some disorganized activity off the coast of Mexico. That could organize. But back here, you're watching this system and this system. But I want you to notice where the storms are coming off. It's getting dark over Africa already. Usually we're about 150 miles or so south of the Cabo Verde Islands. I went back and looked at even the beginning of this season 3 months ago when we started having some of the first depressions that came in, flooded Texas and all. We were watching those. The storms were still coming off there. That's how fast things are changing. We talked about, wasn't sure But now that, if it took a year to get to that 152 miles movement north of the intertropical convergence zone, I don't know, because just at the beginning of this year, these storms were not coming off the Cabo Verde Islands, and I mentioned for the last couple of years, usually if they even get close to it, just south of there, they will turn into the Atlantic. Right now, this last system is coming out over the Cabo Verde Islands. Things are changing. But look at the amount of moisture. Now, this started a couple weeks ago with the system right here that gave us all that rain and cool weather. But look how all of that's pulled up into the Atlantic, tied into this low pressure here. Check that out. That's a lot of moisture, guys, and that's what's been coming over us for 2 weeks. Check that out. Now, let's look down in Galveston, Texas, just a moment, guys. This is that seawall cam or the beach cam right there. You know the one I'm talking about. We watch it every year. And this, I recorded it not quite an hour ago, but you can see that the surf's up. Galveston Bay is not like being along the Florida coast. It's a shallower bay, and you don't have the height in the waves. Now, this is Grand Isle, Louisiana. And again, about an hour ago, you can see some of the rigs offshore there. It looks like it's low tide. Again, live from Grand Isle Beach, Isle Realty camera there. Again, there's the oil rigs. And we're going to look over into Mississippi. We'll go to the Silver Slipper. That's over in Bay St. Louis, right here. You see the logo at the top. We watch this one every year when we get a storm. Now, the difference in these waves from this morning is that they were coming straight to the end instead of that angle, and they were white capping slightly. Now, this is down in Alabama and Gulf Shores from the Sea and Suds. Always beautiful down there, but you can see the storm off in the horizon. It's probably got the temperatures where you can actually bear to be out there. And it's part of my favorite places in the world. It's from Gulf Shores all the way down through Pensacola and Destin, through there, Perdido Bay, Orange Beach, just old stomping grounds. But you guys in Florida, you can see the surf is slightly picking up. Now, this is what they're talking about. Hurricane here, and then right before it came ashore in last night's video, they had it at 85 knots. Now it's down to 80 knots, which puts it from a 98 to a 92, I think. Hurricane watches up here, but now it's tracking further to the right. It was going to go up the Mississippi River, remember? Now I put the coordinates from the printout right here. And this was early this morning, the ones to the left, but the one with the lines are the new ones. And all the way into here, we're going to be at a Cat 1, unless it increases, with Cat 3 gust. But again, here's Jackson, Mississippi. Well, let me pull it up, and the lines will try to fade on us, but to give you an idea. Here's Baton Rouge. Here's Lake Pontchartrain. Here's New Orleans. Now, the tropical storm winds go out quite a ways from this, but you notice again Baton Rouge, this supposedly will be the center of a storm that will cover this entire map right through this area. You can see it on the forecast. Then it's going to come up basically not parallel to I-55. Here's Bogachita, Wesson, right there, Hazelhurst, Crystal Springs, Terry, Mississippi. And they haven't changed the tracking much if you go north of this, but it goes right up through Memphis, Tennessee from here. Look at it. Now it's going to start, again, following 55, but more in a straight line. You can see some of these towns. Yazoo City right there. It's coming right over you guys. Come up through here. Again, 55 is right there. There's Grenada. And it kind of bends over, and if you put a straight line from there, there's Memphis, Tennessee right there. We've got a lot of friends in this area in North Mississippi. And one of our friends there has 2 of our Husky pups, and they are in this area, and you're going to be in the northeast quadrant. Not the good side of the storm, but it's going to be slowing down. But you still could see tropical storm force, or tropical depression winds and rain, tornadoes, lightning, damaging winds, limbs, things like that. That's what we're getting on our information from our power companies. Now, you're a little further north, and that's going to die down, but that's where the track is going. So Guys, just keep that in mind when we get an update later this evening. We're going to see if it continues that slight movement to the west. But right now it's a heads up. Be safe. By the way, check your tide charts. Louisiana, check them now. Just go and put Louisiana tide charts, and you'll see where you've got your low tide and your high tide. That's going to be important. It's a heads up. Be safe.